We were reporting on NATO's fight with the Taliban in southern Afghanistan. And we had just finished several days of hot firefights west of Kandahar city in southern Afghanistan. And the mission had just concluded, and a convoy from the main base had come to pick us up. And in that convoy was a friend of mine, this big Italian-Canadian dude named Gooch. And as we were about to jump into the armored vehicles, Gooch said to me, "Hey, Chao, I'm not feeling good about this ride back." And I'm like, I punched him in the shoulder and went, "Hey, Gooch, that's not good luck. You shouldn't be saying that." And the reason why he was, not that I believe in luck, but, we were just going back and forth. But the reason he was worried is because to get back 30 kilometers from where we were to the main base near the airport in Kandahar, we had to go through Suicide Alley. This was something nicknamed by the troops. At that time, it was a 1 kilometer stretch of road that was the most dangerous stretch of road anywhere on the planet because of the number of suicide attacks, the number of IEDs planted in the road. He just felt something that day. And I remember as we drove back towards the base, when we got close to Suicide Alley, I turned on my camera just because he had that hunch. And Gooch was right beside me in the armored vehicle. His legs were basically like jutted out here because he was manning the turret beside me with his 50 cal. And I remember him just, he was the commander of the convoy, and he was saying, "Okay, watch to the left, watch to the right." And as we entered Suicide Alley, I was really attentive, and all the soldiers were as well. We had hit 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, nothing, 800 meters, 900 meters. And just when I thought, okay, we're clear, and I was just ready to click off my camera, I heard Gooch yell, "Watch this minivan on the left." And I can see him swing the turret, but it was too late. And I remember looking through the thick glass window of the armored vehicle and seeing this minivan parked on the side, and its back springs were like this, which meant it was weighted with something heavy in the back. And you knew that those were explosives. And sure enough, the driver just, at that moment, gunned the minivan into our convoy right in front of us and detonated. And I remember the sheer G-force of that impact was massive. You think about the movies with that sonic boom, right? That's how it felt. It literally threw us back in our seats, through the armor, through the glass and armored plating, and the shrapnel flew in from the top turret. And I remember Gooch falling down beside me, and I thought he was dead. Often that's the case because the shrapnel would just tear you to shreds. Then I remember the ball of flames and the driver yelling, "Drive, drive, drive," because you need to get out of what they call the kill zone, because often there's a secondary, a tertiary attack. So they drove through the flames. They circled around. There was one vehicle that was in front of us that was on fire. 2 soldiers fell out of the vehicle in flames. And then they circled that vehicle, and the soldiers piled out right away. Gooch amazingly was alive. He had just gotten a few minor cuts. And right away, without a moment's hesitation, he was like, "Okay, let's go." And everyone just jumped out. But I was there frozen in the vehicle because I was paralyzed by fear. What I was focusing on at that moment was, if it was 5 seconds later, we would have been that vehicle on fire, and we might not have made it out alive. And so I was paralyzed. And I remember it took me 5 minutes going, "Come on, shake it, shake it, shake it. You need to be reporting. You need to be reporting." And my hands were trembling like this. And then I remember saying, okay, finally I got the courage, and I managed to not step outside. Everyone had been outside for a long time, and Gooch is like, "Chao, get out here. Chao, get out here." And I'm like, okay. But then I finally went up on the turret and first filmed outside, and then slowly I calmed down, and then I managed to step outside and do what I was supposed to do, which is report on what was happening. And it was a sad sight with little boys who had been at the market nearby, cut to shreds, and a lot of other heartbreak in terms of what it looked like after the attack. So yeah, faced fear a lot through the years. But going back to what you said earlier, Janice, what I've learned through all the 25 plus years of reporting in terms of fear is that fear is learned. And this is something I share in my TED Talk, that we make decisions in life which dictate whether we want to live by fear or live by courage. And it's actually quite physical. Like, people have broken this down scientifically. And in our brain, when we make a decision, there's a synapse fire from point A to point B. And that creates what's known as a neural pathway. And the more often we choose to live by fear, like if I had chose to say, you know what, there's no way I'm getting out of this vehicle, boom, that's one decision made. And the next I make that decision again and again and again. And that neural pathway fire gets deeper and deeper, just like a well-trodden path. That's a learned behavior. But what I've seen around me and what I've learned is that you can unlearn that. And the moment I decided to say, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to step out on the turret. It's a different decision, a new neural pathway. And the more often I choose that, the more well-grooved that path becomes and the easier you are to be courageous.